All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's jump into it, guys.
Immigration policy in the United States has entered a new phase. Reports say that the Trump administration has issued about 21,500 fines, totaling 1.6 billion US dollars to immigrants accused of ignoring deportation orders. The government is using a combination of fines, lawsuits, and tax actions to pressure undocumented immigrants to leave.
Okay,
According to
that
the
makes
Wall
sense.
Street Journal,
Yeah, guys, because they're never going to see that money.
a Chinese worker at a restaurant in New York recently received a fine of $1.8 million. A judge had ordered his deportation back in 1998, but he stayed in the country. His lawyer, Edward Cuccia, said, "You're going to give someone a $2 million fine who works a minimum wage job? Clearly, they're not expecting to collect the money. They're just scaring people." Cuccia added that at least 10 of his clients have received similar notices, with fines exceeding $1 million each. The government is also warning that failure to pay could lead to civil lawsuits, debt collection by private agencies, damage to credit scores, and limits on payments from federal and state programs. By law, anyone who ignores a deportation order can be fined up to $998 per day. Over 5 years, the total can reach more than $1.8 million. A senior Homeland Security official said illegal immigrants can use the Customs and Border Protection Home app to book a free flight back to their country. They would also receive a $1,000 subsidy and still keep the chance to legally return in the future.
I mean, if they get fined, right, and then they take this, they leave, then they come back in the future, are they then going to have to pay that fine again, guys? Or is the fine, in fact, just being used to push people that are supposed to not be in the country out of the country? If that's the case, then, bro, do your thing. Live your life here, guys.
Secretary Kristi Noem said,
All
"If
right.
you don't, you'll be subjected to fines, arrest, deportation, and will never be allowed to return. If you're in this country illegally, self-deport now and preserve your opportunity to potentially return the legal, right way." Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has vowed to recoup the fines, stating he remains committed to working with ICE to obtain the funds owed to Americans. Brooklyn lawyer Edward Cuccia said the goal is not to recover money, but to make immigrants feel like they have no way to stay. Even if
Yes.
someone pays millions in fines, it doesn't change their immigration status. Fining you until you leave may be the clearest description of Trump's new immigration policy. Under Trump's tough immigration stance, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has stepped up efforts to arrest illegal immigrants with criminal records. On August 27th, the Department of Homeland Security announced that since June, ICE agents in the Los Angeles area had arrested more than 5,000 illegal immigrants. Many of those arrested were described as violent offenders with long criminal histories. Those taken into custody came from countries including Mexico, El Salvador, South Korea, Vietnam, China, and Eritrea. Among the names released, one case drew particular attention in the Chinese community. A 48-year-old Chinese woman named Hong Jing, also known as Gina, was arrested by ICE agents and is now in deportation proceedings. Prosecutors
Based off the charges, I'm going to go and forecast massage parlor.
said Hong Jing, her daughter Fang Yao Michelle Wu, along with Sophia Wang Navas and Dongzhou Mark Jiang, lured women from China and South Korea into the United States for they were accused of running a trafficking network that operated across 29 states. The Minnesota prosecutor's office charged them with 6 felony counts, each carrying sentences ranging from 10 to 20 years. The charges included racketeering, aiding and abetting trafficking, promoting and labor trafficking conspiracy. Investigators compared the group's operation to an Uber of the trade. They said advertisements were everywhere, phone lines were busy, and WeChat was used constantly to coordinate. Women were moved from city to city every 2 weeks, rotating between hotels, apartments, and massage parlors, with schedules packed from morning to night. In Irvine, California, investigators traced the living quarters of Hong Jing and her daughter. The home was in a quiet Chinese neighborhood, but prosecutors identified it as the control center of the nationwide operation. Most of the women forced into were from China. Many did not speak English, had their passports confiscated, and had virtually no chance of escape. They were described as sacrifices from within their own community. Victims were forced to work 12 to 14 hours a day. Even when they earned up to $800 a day, they had to cover rent, food, and transportation, leaving little left over. Prosecutors said the victims endured repeated beatings, assaults, and robberies, and were constantly moved between states to prevent them from forming social connections or seeking help. One accomplice admitted being beaten and was just part of the business. Officials compared the operation to a multi-state corporation, efficiently managed, but in the business of human trafficking. The scale and coordination, they said, were staggering. Recently, ICE has intensified
Yeah, this level of detail almost sounds cartel level, guys.
raids in Chinese communities across the United States as part of its broader immigration enforcement campaign. On August 29th, Immigration and Customs Enforcement carried out one of the largest raids in recent months in San Francisco, arresting at least 13 undocumented immigrants. The arrests drew widespread concern and anxiety in the community. A Chinatown resident, Zhao Chun-sheng, witnessed the operation. They said ICE agents were waiting outside immigration court and targeting people in immigrant neighborhoods. Zhao said, "When you step out in the morning, your loved ones could be taken away. It makes people very uneasy. Families still waiting for legal status are living in fear every single day."
Listen, families that are waiting for actual legal status, meaning that they have no order for deportation, just stop worrying about this. That's not really an issue here. Now, I think I've heard of a case where there was someone that was actually waiting for like a green card, but they were caught as collateral in a location where there were like a literal illegal immigrant. You get what I'm saying here, guys? And collateral is going to be collateral. You get what I mean?
Community groups in Chinatown stress that immigrants have contributed to the city's
why do you have
economy and
illegals
culture,
in your house?
yet they're now being singled out. They called on city officials to provide more legal support so residents can better understand their rights. Another resident, Liu Guanzhi, said that for many Chinese immigrants in San Francisco, the raid was a reminder that anyone without clear legal status could be arrested at any time. Lawyers urged residents to keep important documents with them and know their rights when approached by ICE, such as the right to remain silent and the right to request an attorney. This reflects the harsh reality now facing undocumented immigrants in the U.S., including thousands of Chinese nationals. From 2000 to 2024, immigration courts issued deportation orders for 250,000 New York residents. Data shows ICE has resumed fast-tracking many of those cases, with New York becoming the epicenter of enforcement. In the first half of 2025 alone, ICE arrested 103 Chinese nationals in the New York area, at least 4 times more than June last year. On Chinese-language social media, friends and relatives of those detained have formed groups to share information and experiences on posting bail. In the middle of this enforcement wave, a longtime Chinese restaurant owner in upstate New York was also caught. Mr. Huang, the owner of Jingfeng restaurant in the town of Owego, had run his business for 25 years and was known as a respected member of the community. On June 16th, he went to immigration services to process his green card application, but ICE agents arrested him on the spot. ICE officials later revealed that Mr. Huang entered the U.S. with false documents back in 1993. He had been summoned to court several times but failed to appear, and was eventually ruled to be staying illegally. Despite
yeah, bro. I mean, you were told to go to court for some reason, and you just never went. And then you were surprised that you got arrested when you went to get your green card paperwork. Of course, this is why, bro. Yeah, in fact,
of self-defense in court, he exhausted all legal options and was finally taken into custody. This was not the first time in recent months that a Chinese restaurant owner has been arrested by ICE. On July 2nd, in the small town of Camden, New York, ICE agents arrested 56-year-old Chinese restaurant owner Jinghao Zhang, who had been running the China Moon restaurant on Main Street. Zhang entered the U.S. in 1990 on a false visa. In 1999, a New York immigration judge ordered him to leave the country by July 2000, but he never left. In 2013, Zhang bought the building that housed China Moon for $50,000. He ran his restaurant on the first floor and lived upstairs with his family. Since his arrest, the restaurant has remained closed. His wife, Jingping Zhang, their daughter, Winnie, told reporters that they did not want to speak publicly or ask the community for help. They said they already had a lawyer. Zhang is now being held at the ICE detention center in Batavia. Finding details about his case has been difficult. The immigration court system does not allow the public to search by name. Even with a case number, records often show no charges, no court date, and no attorney listed. Under the Trump administration's crackdown on undocumented labor, Chinese immigrants without legal status have faced increasingly harsh conditions. Another longtime restaurant owner in New York was also arrested earlier this month during what his family thought would be a routine immigration check. According to ABC News, the man was 56-year-old Yu Cheng-yang, who had lived in New York for 30 years and had recently retired from running his own restaurant, the Hong Kong Cafe. On July 14th, ICE agents took him into custody. Yang's Wang's daughter, Elizabeth, told the station that her father often had to attend interviews or phone check-ins with immigration officials, so the family assumed this was just another routine visit. She said her father was in the process of applying for a green card and had a valid work permit. ICE's Buffalo office confirmed that Yang was arrested under a deportation order issued by an immigration judge in 2002.
There it goes. Okay, so it seems to be the same. Yeah, I was literally waiting to see where we're going with these stories here, and it seems like it's all the same thing. So they were giving deportation orders. They were told to leave. Okay, that it's time for you to go because you've been here illegally, et cetera, et cetera. But then you refused to leave, and now you're confused. Now you're confused why you're being picked up by ICE. Guys, we can't make this up here. All right, it seems like that's the consistent issue here. I get it. You were here. You made a life here. You've been here since 1993, 1987, whatever the year you want to insert year. Doesn't matter, guys. You were legitimately given a deportation order. And then social media and the left is going crazy because they didn't listen to the paperwork they were giving, or they didn't go to court because they knew that they were going to be deported. They tried their hardest, okay, consistently to skirt the law. All right. Like, this is why the left keeps losing. This is why they're going to keep losing, guys. Sorry for my voice today, guys. I'm like super sick. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys do want to finish this video, I'll leave the link in the description. In the meantime, I will catch you guys later.